For 7 straight days, they were pinned down. Bullets in the sand, shells over their heads. But every drone feed showed the same thing. No enemy. Nowhere. The Marines started believing the unthinkable. They weren't fighting people anymore. Something else wanted them to stay. Afghanistan, Helmand Province, 2011. A recon unit of 6 U.S. Marines was sent to secure a forward observation post. A dusty ridge surrounded by desert nothingness. Staff Sergeant Lewis led the team. Quiet. Sharp. The kind of man who could smell trouble before it hit. The first night was calm, stars, wind, the distant hum of generators. By the second night, comms began to flicker. Their radio would cut out mid-sentence, replaced by static, or whispers. Lewis wrote it off as interference. But the whispers sometimes repeated their names. On day 3, just before dawn, the ridge lit up with incoming fire. Tracer rounds ripped across the sandbags. The Marines hit the dirt, returning fire into the darkness. Lewis shouted coordinates, radioed command. But no one responded. For hours, they held their ground. Until the gunfire stopped as suddenly as it began. When drone footage came back an hour later, there was nothing. No movement. No heat signatures. No tracks leading in or out of the valley. It was like they'd been under siege. By ghosts. Day 4. Morale broke. Corporal Diaz refused to sleep, said he kept hearing boots outside the wire. Private Nolan swore he saw shadows moving against the moonlight. When they fired flares, the light revealed only empty sand dunes. The radio played fragments of their own voices. Lewis replayed the recordings. Every voice on the frequency belonged to them. As if the air was mocking their panic. The only thing they were sure of was that someone, or something, didn't want them to leave. Day 5. Midnight. It started again, gunfire from every direction. Rounds pinged off rocks, explosions echoed from invisible mortars. Lewis shouted coordinates, begging command for extraction. The reply came, faint and distorted. Hold your position. Reinforcements inbound. But dawn came, and no one arrived. When the sun rose, every casing, every crater, was gone. Even their own shell marks in the dirt had vanished. The ridge looked untouched. Finally, Lewis ordered the team to retreat toward base. But the GPS kept looping them back. Every direction led to the same ridge. Exhausted, hallucinating, they stumbled upon something buried in the sand. A rusted signpost and fragments of helmets. Stamped on the metal. Observation Post Echo, abandoned 1979. Lewis froze. Their map said this was newly designated terrain. But the sign was older than their father's. Then their radio crackled one last time. With Lewis's own voice. Hold position. Reinforcements inbound. Days later, a drone patrol flew over the ridge again. The feed showed no Marines. No camp. No movement. But thermal imaging revealed 6 faint heat signatures. Buried beneath the sand. Still warm. Still there. Some say the desert keeps its own soldiers. And sometimes, it just doesn't let go. If you ever hear gunfire where no one's fighting, don't run toward it. Some battles never ended, they're just waiting for someone new to join. Subscribe for more true military horror stories.